Antonio, Miss Royalty Baby, and I want everyone in Liberia to know that I love listening to
105.1 FM. Okay, was it a big deal that you're getting the ghosty? No, Papi, down with your question. Yeah, me, I can't speak the English there good. Whatever, I'm Morovia. It's my way of saying good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever you are. It's Joe Nutua Wonder. And of course, I'm your humble servant seated here this afternoon between twists and turns. What do we have on the plate? So many things on the plate this afternoon. A lot of things trending in the city, and of course, a lot of things happening around our country and the world as a whole. The man say he had meaty with milk, sugar, and of course with butter, mayonnaise, butter. You want to see? Yeah, in fact, very nice. I will not speak English. Okay, now we thought to start this afternoon. We got a lot on the plate for us all to enjoy, actually. Music, word of wisdom, and of course, a lot of human interest story and a bit of politics. But today we'll be joining our judicial correspondent, Stephen Rabbit. If you've been following the news, today they'll be bringing down the final verdict with respect to the $100 million case that had to do with cocaine. Cocaine that surfaced from nowhere and it was grabbed by security forces from somewhere. So whatever it is, some people, you are there, we are here. So let's sit down and enjoy the best. So we'll be going live to the Temple of Justice this afternoon, where Peter Rava is seated and waiting our calls.
ye, I would mama walk on my own bad. You got it, okay? Mama, you're on logo. You put now, Prince, you're where we live. Mana, don't move. About the more what people does it all way. Mama, walk on my head. I put the Prince, you're with. I got a group. Uno bad looking way. You could be a partition dog there. You could be done on a fado partition away. Brother, you know where to go away. Don't lose it. I go have to be a innocent. Mama, the partition dog. Yepo partition, mana. Motoka upasewa, mpika etoka sewa. Partition we ya kala kuko, soka we de kuzan pie. Nosen muwa upoe, you to afare, you to afare. Arutuno kuboe, arutuno.
It's a new one in town. But the band is Prince Yahweh. It's a traditional gospel musician. It's a Liberian guy though, very new in town. I want to call Mama put blessing on me, you know. But it's in the Gio if I don't okay.
Partition, partition, man. Go and grab up our mama. We praise well up. Get the share blue to come and love ye. I would now. Go and be a boy to be but you don't have to see. But I'm here. I be my boy, Sabo. Mother boy, I be my boy, Sabo. In a pen way, I be my boy, Sabo. So I be Sabo. Mama get proper Prince here, buddy. Let the bad work and I play bubble. Get the church, going up. The tomato can go down. The great dogs, the one. I can walk over. I got a good bubble. I can I've got a good. I might got a good. I walk on my head. I'm like it. I walk on my head. I need to walk on my head. Because my walk on my head. 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 Walk on my head.
Yes, first airplay on ABC Radio. People always number one in everything, you know. That's the band Prince Yahweh. It's a Liberian gospel musician. It's known as Mama Bless Me, you know. From the downtrodden from northeastern Liberia. Okay, that was the voice of Prince. They call him Prince Wasia. He worked with the Ministry of Justice, the correction, the division headed by Mr. Taraware, the deputy minister there. So he's it's a new one in town. We got a lot of it for him, and whenever we hear, and of course during our gospel period, we always play them. But it's new in town. We just thought to teach you a little of it, but you want a copy of it. Prince's information will be given to you as time goes by. to be part of it. But let's see what we can get to our judicial correspondent. He's somewhere there at the capital. Is at the what you call it, at the Temple of Justice, to fill us in with information relevant to what is unfolding there. So let's see what we can get to him now. With the time making it 11 minutes after 4 o'clock in the city of Monrovia. Then from then, of course, we'll give you all our guest line of this afternoon. So be there. I'm here trying to see what I can get to our judicial correspondent. If he's ready, then of course we just go straight. If not, then we take a few bars of music again. Then when he's ready, then we go back there. The front of ready is coming on today, so we're trying to see how best we can get to him to make sure we do the best we can. But in the meantime and in between time, I don't know what is happening. I'm not getting my way through to the correspondent. The phone is just ringing endlessly. I'm not getting him. Let's see what's going on. Oh, I wonder if he has forgotten that we have to get to him. Oh, okay. Well. Let me see what I can get to this gentleman. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not getting my way through. So, probably anybody listening and our correspondent that said, please, studio is trying to get to you to get the information with respect to the final verdict on this $1 million cocaine case at the Temple of Justice. So, we're trying to get to our correspondent. Okay, he's on the line now. So let me see what I can engage in. Good afternoon, Mr. Rabba.
Good afternoon, Joe Warner. Let me say good afternoon to Liberians.
Okay, you are live on ABC Hard Talk. So fill us in exactly where you're from and where are you presently with respect to what is unfolding there at the third branch of government.
Yes, we're here at the Temple of Justice. We are where the ongoing $100 drugs trafficking case is expected to be concluded today with jury hearing, and also the jury verdict will be coming up this or any moment from now here at the Criminal Code C. And so, like this morning, the prosecution lawyer headed by the city solicitor or the Solicitor General and that of the lead lawyer, one of the lead lawyer, Councillor Bobby Livingstone, who was also on the stand on today to give his verdict as it relates to the entire happening in the matter that is unfolding, and also the defense lawyer headed by former Councillor Wright, who was also here today to lead the defense into the entire allegation that have been leveled against them.
So you say in a JFIC. So what give us happiness around there. What are you noticing around the which are the code room that you are into?
Yeah, we're here at the Criminal Code C. You know, the case has been on since 2 months plus, and so today was the concluding stage of the entire matter, and the jury verdict will be coming up any moment for now to determine the intent of the case as to who wins or who is to become veteran to the entire matter, followed by the judge, the presiding judge over the entire matter on today. So we here, like this morning we came since 9 o'clock. The prosecution team was able to push forth as usual, calling on the jury to bring down a verdict against the parties that have been accused of 4 crimes: criminal conspiracy, money laundering, importation of unuseful substances, and illegal imposition of unuseful substances. These are the 4 crimes that have been leveled against Abdullah Jabri and Maria Conte, one Oliver Zizi, and Meki Adlet Hassan. These are the 4 defendants that have been leveled accused for transporting the $100 drugs into Liberia that passed through the free port of Monrovia, and through intelligence, the Monrovia Seaport security was able to arrest the situation and turn it over to the LTEA, and the LTEA did a preliminary investigation and turn it over to the Temple of Justice through the Criminal Code C that have been hearing this matter. And so today was the final jury hearing. Again, a moment from now, the jury will be coming up with their verdict to determine who wins the matter, or whether the accused party is actually guilty of the crime level against them or not.
Okay, I want to find out that there were some hurdles with respect to interpreter, or better still, machine to interpret the to one of the accused. What was that done? Did they bring any a device down that was able to interpret to one of the accused on which on our jurisprudence is his right to know exactly what is being said against him?
Yes, when the case started, the accused parties or the defendants into this entire matter, they are not English. They are not from an English-speaking country. They are from Guinea-Bissau. You know, Guinea-Bissau is predominantly a Portuguese-speaking country.
Right.
And so, in order to also be able to speak to the hearings of the juror and also the party litigants and those who came to witness the case, including the presiding judge, is to use a transforming regime and language interpreter that will also be able to spread the message to the both parties.
Okay.
So Abdullah Jabiru comes on, when he comes on, he speaks in Portuguese, and the machine will interpret it to English. Why the prosecution team that is being represented through the government lawyers, because normally into this matter, this case is between the accused party and that of the governor of Liberia. So the governor of Liberia now is speaking English, the legal team was speaking English, and the machine will also be able to interpret into Portuguese, for this the accused parties that are on the bench.
Okay, until they're ready, so we will keep you, keep us, keep us informed with respect to when the judges are ready, or when the parties are ready to, execute whatever it is over there. So, in order for the public to be informed of what is unfolding, because we want to be the one to break the news first.
Yeah, so definitely we will do that, but to just let you know that the jurors now are on a mandate to determine. They will determine the fate of this entire case. There are 4 counts, like we said. The parties were accused of illegal importation of unuseful substances, illegal imposition of useful substances, money laundering, and that of criminal conspiracy. And so the total number of grand jurors on the stand will go into their cluster after the hearing, because the final hearing will be conducted for the both parties to tell the jury as to why our party should be found guilty or why this party should not be found guilty. And so all of the evidence that were provided in court, and also including the witnesses' testimony, and that of the legal team justification before the jury, it will be determined. It will be from that fact the jury will also determine their verdict to come up. So they will go into that chamber. They have already gone into that chamber. We hear the judicial reporters, number of the judicial reporters, including other radio stations across the country, are also on the ground here to witness the scene. But they are going to vote based on the crimes leveled against the 4 defendants. Now, for example, illegal imposition or illegal position or possession of unuseful substances. They will vote against it, whether all of the evidence leveled, the witnesses' testimony, and including the allegation level against them, whether there are facts that yes, these people are found guilty of the possession of unuseful materials. They will vote yes or no. So depending on the number of voters against this crime, including the 4 other crimes leveled, that will determine whether the party accused will be free from the allegation or not. So we hear after they are voting, they will come back over, and then we will pass forth the verdict to the presiding judge, Blamo Desi, to come up with a final determination. Okay,
Stephen Rava is our judicial correspondent, and he's there at the Temple of Justice to fill us in with the final argument, and better still the jury verdict with respect to what is unfolding there. So Stephen, stand by, and like I said, when you're ready, just signal out, then we'll get you back live on air. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's the first of Stephen Rivals. He's there for us at the 3rd branch of government. So, but in the meantime, we should have actually had Minister Bangura in studio this afternoon. Unfortunately, he consented this morning. He said we're going to give her a call at afternoon time, but when we place him call now, unfortunately for us, he's telling us that it's not possible because is in meetings, and when ministers are in meeting, you can't force them and say, no, you compare to stay talk to me. So here we are. So whatever the case, but we are here. We are here. So we will do the best we can in making sure that we fill you in with other things. But come here at 5 o'clock. The name Adolphus Scott is one name that Liberians are aware of, from the academia to that of the NGO setting, and now currently he's with the Electricity Corporation of Liberia. He's serving as one of the arrow pressing that had to do a rural electrifications, and he's serving that. He had written a book, and this book is very interesting. It's called The Pepper Bird, and Let the Pepper Bird Sing or something like that. But I don't want to get a cat out of the bag. But whatever the case is, just be there as I'm here, and let's take a few bars of the songs from Prince Yahweh again, as he is. I'll be entertaining us on this side. Sorry for that. We got to get this thing done with. But let's take a quick break, and we'll come back. We will be talking to you on other things. But whatever the case, just hold on there. We come in quickly to play you some other things. But I take a few bars of our team song. Okay, just hold on there. Okay. Let's see what we can do to fill in for this. I don't know what our regional correspondent is ready now to take us through to what we add, but let's see whether we can take this quick break. Then I want to make sure from him whether we are ready to go through with this. Let's see quickly. If you are there, the program is ABC Hard Talk, and of course, like I said, I should have had in studio this afternoon Minister Bangura, Minister Bangura. He should have been here this afternoon to grace this platform, but unfortunately for us, he couldn't make it because of busy schedule. So we have to change the discussion, pattern this afternoon to make sure that we talk to you on some other important things that are unfolding within the country. Some things that we are saying that it's not worth doing as a people and as a nation, and we thought to just make sure that we bring it to your attention this time around as a people. So remain that we are here and let's do the best we can, but let's take this one.
Bring her to go see to remain in store.
Oh, so the man wanted for you to go Steve on the web post.
Yeah, he said I'm joining to go see to the women store to they get money into the store. They will go take it from there. I said, my man, I only bad for the same leisure.
Then how can the people catch you now?
The people before the man call me back. Now on the 18th, they more.
The same man now?
Yeah, the same man.
The same man who want for you to go Steve?
Yeah, he called me on the 18th.
Yeah.
Now in the night, around about 8:30, the man called me. He said, oh, my man, I'll let you be there and call you back again.
So that time you go to where?
I go to where?
You live for a working place, you can't do the man?
Yeah, I'm from to my working area to Clarence to now go to the man.
To go Steve now?
No, I don't go Steve. I go Steve. I go to yeah. How you question me, man? The thing you want for me to explain for you to understand, then you still questioning me, doubling the question. How many talk clear?
Okay, let's go now. I beg you, sorry.
I say
When they call you in the night now?
When the man call me in the night,
yeah.
He asked me, say, how many of you are working to the area? I say we are 3.
You told the man say you're 3.
Yeah. So he said, I want to give you tea to carry to the.
The man say you want to give you what?
Tea. Hot milk tea. Hot milk tea.
Oh, milk tea?
Yeah.
For you to drink?
With bread.
With bread?
3 pieces of bread.
With egg inside?
With egg inside my butter. So when I carry it to the man, say carry it to the man. When you give it to the man, then you must come back to the car.
So the food the man give you now, you carry it so you can go convince your friend now.
Yeah. When I give it to the man now, the man say thank you. I say okay. The man say, oh, where you going now? I say, oh, I'm going right here. So one of my friends called me.
Yeah, the same man you going to now?
Yeah, the same man.
The man tell you say he want for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man now, he say clean the car. Then they are 2 now.
In the Jeep?
In the Jeep. Then they are 2.
A big Jeep?
Yeah.
That one.
Black BG. Photo Jeep.
Photo Jeep.
Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
air condition all inside.
No, Papi, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the water now. But you can judge people.
I just asking you questions, sorry.
You can judge people that can come here.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you double in the question, can I say when I move from here, I'll free? Can I say when I move from here, I'll free? You said one talk again. I wanted to mean the whole talk clear to you, but you double in the question. Hi, land looking, hi, looking. Hi, looking. Then you want force another more word there again. Why not belonging to the talk?
Okay, you want to force something in the talk, why not belonging to the talk? So let me just hold my audience there and talk to bring on board this while we are with the word from our judicial correspondent, because this is a landmark case had to do with drugs that have infiltrated our system, I mean, it crossed from whatever end to another end, and today that drug was seized. And what has been said now is that the judicial aspect of it is being talked about at the capital, at the Temple of Justice. But then I thought while we are waiting him, I thought at this half hour of the program to bring to the discussion or table this afternoon something very interesting. Most of the time, you see a lot of cars moving on the street of Monrovia, and in most cases, some of them they're flying with government plates, the old plates, and some are new plates, but they are not coded. Because all I know, all the government vehicles, they are coded one way or the other, except for maybe the security sector. But all other vehicles, I noticed that they have been coded. Either belong to the Ministry of XYZ, Ministry of XYZ. But then, to our surprise this time around, you see every other cars moving on the street of Monrovia, privately owned by individuals that you know and those that you don't even know, but they got government plate on it to evade taxes. And they pass right before the very eyes of the traffic police. And of course, sometimes when the checking, the inspection is going on, they pass right before the eyes of the inspector from the Ministry of Transport. So I begin to ask myself, are these people tax invader, or they just feel that they are above the law? They feel that they got quote unquote some so-called relationship with the power that be, and then using their private a vehicle or private property with government plate on it to evade taxes. Because by law, wherever that apply the street of Liberia, be it commercial or privately owned, say cars or whatever it may be, you should be tax compliant. What am I talking about? Those who got cars, you know it. You make sure your vehicle registration is okay. Then of course they will give you the ECOWAS stuff. Then the various stickers that is paid for at the Ministry of Transport. So many people in Monrovia in particular have taken advantage of the fact that the laws are not applicable to them here as far as they are concerned. Either they got some friends within the executive or the judiciary, or better still within the legislative, using their private cars but with government plate, invading tax or taxes at the detriment of the very people that put a government in power. So this time around, I thought to bring it to the doorstep for to talk about it. Why Liberians have become so criminal-minded? Why Liberians have become rogue to themselves? They steal from their own self, and at the end of the day, they point finger at government institutions. Oh, the government official corrupt. But meanwhile, you as an individual, you are more corrupt than the government official you're talking about, because you are invaded tax from January to December. And I wanted that from one regime to another regime, because some of you got a habit of just being friends with people from the GSA, just being friends with the people from the police, aspect of our society, or better still, being friends with the power that be, and you say, I'm untouchable and X, Y, Z. If you are untouchable, pay your taxes. Just a few months ago, we were talking about government officials paying their LEC or water and light, bills. Because if all of these things are done, trust me, the country is bound to succeed in her revenue generation. I said this some time back. In Ghana, of late, I was looking at the news. Just within Accra metropolis, the electricity company, what they call CEG, the electricity company of Ghana, just within Accra alone, they collected almost 3 to 4 billion cedis. You know how many US dollars is that? Just from electricity collection from both private and public entity. The thing we do in the country, Ministry of this, owing this one, the other government official on flat rate, the other one, the government, when you say when you appointed or you are elected this official, you can't pay bill, you can't do that. Even the door in your house and all they unfreeze, or something, none of them can even pay taxes. It is wrong. Because if you want to looking at Joe wanted to pay tax, then you killing the society. Because how long? Because the tax regime for my car is 1 year. which is just 12 months. So if Joanna alone paid that $60 for my car, you want to tell me that the $60 that the government will survive on? No. But if you pay, your girlfriend pay, your wife pay, your children pay, your cousin pay, your uncle pay, your relative pay, your in-laws pay, then of course we are headed for something better. But if we all sit here and refuse to pay taxes and take government plates and put it on our cars that are not coded by the GSA, you are defrauding government. But you got a mind to call somebody, someone walking the street, Zogo. You got a mind to call somebody who jacked somebody poise, armed robber. And you are the clean clothes Zogo. You are the clean clothes armed robber. Those are you who using government cars. And the private cars, I mean, with government plate on it, you are criminal. You are a criminal. There's no other way we can put it. You are the white collar criminal. You are the white collar, a criminal of our time. Because you defraud government of taxes. So one who does that, who is he? Is he a patriotic citizen? He's not. He's a criminal at all. No matter, there's no other way we can polish it. This is ABC Hard Talk. So we're talking hard. Those things that you think, we're not here to decorate anybody or say something palatable to your understanding. No. You cannot defraud the Republic of Liberia, then you say you're a good citizen, you know who I am, I'm a responsible man, you know who I am, I'm a married woman, I'm a married man. But meanwhile, you ride a car that refuse to just buy the sticker. You ride a car that refuse to be plated. For that money to go to government revenue, that your husband or your wife will take a handsome salary home to live that decent life that you want to live. Then you call somebody that jacking somebody from the street, you call them criminal. What's about you? In that white color, in a decent dress, with all the gold, glittering on you, but yet you ride a car that is not plated by the Ministry of Transport. You got no stickers on it, nothing. You bulldozing police. When police stop you, you got a guts to get down and look at a policeman in his regalia with the flag of the Republic of Liberia authority. You insulting that man. You want to even slap him. Oh, Liberia, what a country are we? Then you got a man to pick up phone and call some kind of little John Brown sitting somewhere. Oh, honey, and one of the policemen here, he looking so wretched. Oh, he got a man to stop me and put me down from the car and this and that. Then he too will call police director, and police director, my so were moving, and your police at junction stop her and pull her out of the car. Then the police director too, or the police chief, whoever it may be, call my man. You know who you were talking to over there. Look, if we learn to respect the law and we don't even care to know who that person may be, but the law is bigger than that person, the country will move forward. But Liberians are noted for shortcut. Liberians are noted for people who don't pay taxes. This is bad on us. The hostels coming out in the month of June. Trust me, a lot of us, we don't even know what house taxes are, and I just small money. Some money $20, some money $15. It depending on the size of property you got. How many all are tax compliant in this country? So I thought to bring this thing, because if we want the country to move forward, we all should be tax compliant. There should not want to be one group of people paying taxes, then a good chunk of refuse to follow suit. But yet we expect the country to grow overnight. The job creation I'm talking about, if taxes are paid, better jobs will be created. Trust me. Because you open avenue for creation of pockets of jobs here, there, Yana. Let's pay our taxes, Liberian. So I thought to bring this to the doorstep of all of us, because I noticed many of us Liberians, we got our private vehicle, we put on the road, and we put government plate on it, which is against the law, the traffic and vehicle law that I know about. It is wrong. And those who doing it, they are no other person than criminal. They are all criminal. Who was somebody from the what they call the GSA that giving you the plate to put on your car to move and defraud government of revenue? You are the best criminal that I ever seen. You are the best armed robber that I ever seen in this nation. With clean clothes on, with your gold glittering on you. You are a criminal. Nothing else you are but a criminal. We cannot and we must not contend in such thing. Nobody, you can even be the who in this nation, you're not above the law of the Republic of Liberia. The law says we should pay our taxes. Once we plow the street of Monroe for maintenance of the road, we should pay our taxes. And long we driving out, even be a motorcycle, they pay our taxes. Why the police are so high on commercial rider and we the private vehicle owners, and they are afraid of those of you Those of you who friendly with official government that uses government plates on your private car, why are they afraid of you? We think you're better off than the Joe owner said, nah, yeah, you are not. And you will never be better than me. I'm far better than you do. Because, look, let me tell you something. When you are tax compliance, you make it easier for the president to get his pay. You make it easier for those who are talking about they're not taking pay for 2-3 months to get their pay. When you are tax compliance, like me sitting here, the property that I live in, taxes are paid on it. The car that I ride, taxes are paid on it. The gasoline I buy on a daily basis, tax components are on it. The water that I drink, the food that I eat, tax components are on it. And it is given to government revenue every now and then. And those of you who always think that you will always find the shortest route in life, you are killing yourself. Trust me, you are killing yourself. Because you're killing this nation. When the nation obviously go bankrupt, you are bound to suffer. Trust me, because it will fail to be tax compliance. Obviously, at the end of the day, all that happened to us as a nation is that we will just be like headless chicken, moving just like that without no direction. So, Mr. Policeman, or the traffic, segment of the police, I just thought to bring this to your understanding. Of course, the Ministry of Transport, the Motor and Vehicle Division, you got a lot of cars moving on the street of Monrovia today. I encountered one right on McDonald Street there. There's only one way. That one way is leading from the post office towards, Benson Street. Most of them got the habit of coming from the Benson Street, and which is just one way. They enter there. I saw one guy there stop in the middle of that junction. While I was trying to get, come from the post office end to cross Carey Street to enter, the Madonna Street, the other side. The guy in the middle of the road with a government plate on his car. I said, my man, I look at the car, it's not coded, but yeah, he got a government plate. So I said, but my man, you're supposed to be an example because you are, or better say, you ride a government vehicle. My people were trying to say, Jack, that man used the 4-letter words on me. And he kept condemning and damning me, walking away, driving a car going. I said, Liberia, what a nation. Will we ever go ahead? Every day we read to rest, taking 10, 15, 20 steps behind. Every day, while people taking 100, 2,000 steps ahead, Liberians are taking it behind because everybody feel that they got a so-called connection with the power that be, and they just steal from our coffers. They will only blame those who will find their fingers in the cookie jar. But what about you and myself, who on the street of Monrovia, who fail to pay taxes? We are more criminal than the armed robber that come in the night. We are more criminal than those who will be on the street that are jacking people's phones. Yes. There's no other word I can say than what I'm seeing. All right. So while we're still waiting, let me give you the chance, the audience that who following. I know most of you got experiences of what I'm talking about. People who ride the cars in Monrovia and using government plate. Meanwhile, they are privately owned to evade taxes. Let me hear from you. 0-777-105-100 and 0-555-105-100. Liberian, let me hear from you because for too long, we continue to treat the nation like one stepchild of somebody, which is not fair. We can't keep doing that. Of course, coming at 5 o'clock, we will have Adolphus Scott in studio. He wrote a book. Okay, I'm hearing that my guest is already here. He's already on the ground. Adolphus Scott is on the ground. There's a book he wrote called Let the Pepper Burr Fly. So he will be here this afternoon and we'll be discussing issues. But let me go to the phone lines and take few calls from those of you who've been following the discussion this afternoon. Good afternoon. Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, where are you calling from?
James calling from Single.
Yeah, Jim, let's hear you, boss.
Yeah, I just want to just say to you, the whole problem, the government officials themselves have their own problem. They're encouraging a lot of things. Can you imagine the director of police in the Republic of Liberia? They can't do have a plate. The director of police, he can't drive. They don't have a plate. People have enforced the law. They should be there for people to look at them as an example and follow it. What do they do have an example? You see one minister or one representative of a new car today, they fly the street. All of them get or towing, they move it. Whether the security, they don't security, nobody cares. then you see the laymen down there doing the thing.
Now, okay, what the way forward from what you see? Like you've been listening and you are observing. What the way forward you think?
The only way forward, the government officials need to understand that Liberia is our country. If we put them there, it's to represent us. They need to follow the law. They need to make sure that all the law in the order book be implemented. They need to do that. If they can't implement the law will not work at all.
Yeah, but then again, when we start asking these questions, why from generation to generation, from regime to regime, these things have been repeated? Is it a way of life now in Liberia? You think?
That's what the people think. That's what all the other Liberia think. We need to change it. Somebody needs to be strong and change it. Regardless of what people will say about you. But just do the work. That's all. You see, Mabel is a good example of Liberian people. Mabel, she did not go to school to play all the day. She didn't go to school to do, but she just think that she saw all that. She saw it and implemented. Yes, everywhere Mabel went, she never changed it. So all of people came to work.
That's a good one you just brought up. But I want to say thank you again for following up and sharing your own experience with us too. So that's it. So you can be like our brother who just called, the first caller, and let's hear it from you too. What you make of it? Why Liberians are not tax compliance? Why Liberians always want to take the shortest call, but yet they blame the authority? Oh, the government can't. The government also no criminal in government. Fine, granted that you own a view, you're entitled to it. But what's about you? Who bought that car? Whether second hand or new one, you got a government plate on it and you evading taxes for the last 5 years. How you call yourself? How do you call yourself? You who calling government official to be criminal? Oh yeah, they stole. Oh yeah, they stole our money. Oh, they burned BB houses. What about you? The last 5 years, you are not paid even the first dime on the house that you built. Oh yes. Football game, you look for a free VIP ticket. You don't even want to go around the fee. You want to go way up to VIP. You want to sit down near the president. Oh yeah, my man, I was sitting near the president. You don't even want to buy a ticket. You always want free things in this country. What kind of nation are we? Ticket, you can buy it. Everything in this country, you must find somebody to give you free thing. When will we realize to patronize our own? Even when you own, you sell no kobo, they will come there with the same attitude. But oh my, you know that you own some are hungry. You want it free. That 1 or 2 boys you friend will eat. That the profit that you are eating there. You realize that? If we learn to patronize our own things, the country bound to go forward. We cannot keep doing it every day like this. It's about 10 minutes to 5 o'clock. My guest, I understand, is here, and I'm still waiting word from the Capitol building. Sorry, not the Capitol. I'm so used to calling the Capitol building. I'm waiting word from the judiciary from our correspondent there to fill us in with respect to. But whatever the case is, I sure when they're ready, yeah, you will signal us, then we'll see how best we can get him, online to discuss the issues relevant to the cocaine saga at that place. The criminal, I think it's a criminal code C or criminal code A, or one of them is where we hope to hear from them this afternoon. So let me hear from you with respect to cars that apply in the street of Monrovia with government plate on it, invading taxes. 0777 105 100 and 0555 105 100. Liberians, how do you call those who often carry those things from generation to generation, from regime to regime? They refuse to pay taxes. They refuse to do just everything. How can we run a country like this? Then we complain. Oh, the Minister of Finance said this. The Minister of Justice said this. But meanwhile, the last 5 years, since the inception of this government, most of us, we feel we got our so-called contact, we refuse to go and get our car documents. Just everything we refuse to do it. Are we treating the nation fair? Let me hear from you. Let's talk a little. We talk long time like this. Let's talk a little. Can I hear from you, Liberians? Why you think Liberians are behaving in this kind of form and manner? Has it become a way of life that everybody always want to, circumvent the we, or better still, they want to park at the back door and something like, for example, you go to places for government, things like, for example, I visited the police station some time ago to get police clearance. It costs $250 Liberian dollar. But guess what? Guys at the police station will tell you, say, give me $50, or give me $40, give me $20 for something that costs $250 Liberian dollars, just on a $150 US dollar. That's the kind of thing that going on in our country. Everybody just want to steal from somebody. Then we all say that, oh, look at the armed robber them. You are worse than the armed robber. Something that costs $2.50 Liberian dollar. Then you say, I'm going to give $50 to expedite it. Hey, man, for God's sake, man. For God's sake, why are we treating the nation like this? Everybody just want to steal from somebody. But meanwhile, you got a man who called a man who come in the night with armed to arm rob you. He said the man is the more criminal. But what's about you who broad daylight, you stealing? You borrowed a property and you refuse to pay taxes on the property. That include your cars, your house. Then you want to put more on somebody because you own that clean clothes stealing you can do, a man you can do in dirty clothes. You are no different from him, or you are the same old criminal. So the police need to be very rigid. You need to get on board, walk around. Look, stop some of those government, those so-called government cars are passing around. Stop them, especially those that are not coded. Stop them and ask, please let me see the documents. Let it show it to you. But you're scared. You see the messenger behind the wheel, the car not coded, whether it belongs to ministry or agency or government, nobody know, but he got government plate on it, and he bulldozing. Someone then got serene and we who moving on the street of Monrovia when they know they are nobody. Under the traffic rules, what I understand, I stand to be corrected, or maybe I change. But my understanding is only the president, alongside the ambulances and that of the fire service, entitled to the we want the Sereno. But today, you want already put it on, you put blinkers down on the flasher, I can call it flasher, and you put it on your car. All kind of sound are coming with. When the traffic jam, the police trying to regulate the traffic, they're taking third lane or fourth lane. What are we doing to this nation? People of Liberia. We got 6 more minutes on this topic. Let me hear from you, Liberian people. 077-105-100 and 055-105-100. Why are we invading taxes? Then we turn to blame official of government of stealing. But meanwhile, we are the more, dressed criminal. Once you refuse to pay taxes, you are a criminal. Once you refuse, you're not tax compliant, but you got property that government is supposed to be benefiting from. That money goes to what? Development. That money goes to what? Salary. Let's go back to the phone now. We got another caller that let's talk to this other caller. Oh, we lost that call. 077-105-100 and 055-105-100 number to call. Let's see what we can squeeze in. 3 more last call before we take our second guest. I mean, he's outside in the lobby, and he's coming for this call out. Okay, let's take this call. Hello, Yanime, where you calling from?
How are you? How are you?
I'm okay, so Yanime, where you calling from?
I wonder your work caller, Ayuba Eskana.
Hey, Ayuba, yeah, I want to know from you. So,
you can always answer who person over the lamb. You see, what you just saying, well, everything that happened in the government, it has to happen again. Because when the government came in power, Congress for democratic change. The minister like Manasari would day work for government, you correct it. But we just say, everybody gets away on their car. Everybody was against the ring now, motor park gets away, you know that?
I know.
What about coming? Okay. All the minister, very minister now, even minister power yet now. If you are kind of put on nobody will stop you. And we will take a job go to the Jaco. And we come poor baby, they pay taxes. They want to pay. What we say, sir? What we say? Oh, Joe, and we're not today with the country. We're still crying a day. So you have to prove that what happened with the country and your government, the Honorable Wakai, to help the nation. Bye-bye, may God help.
Thank you for your call. Let's squeeze in this other call. Hello? Hey, please walk away from the radio. Please walk away from the radio. I beg you, walk away from the radio. Okay, hello? Okay, thank you for being so earnest to call it of yourself. Because, I mean, when you call, please move from near the radio, I beg you. Because it's irritating our ears, and in fact, it's not even good for us. Because you try to make us go on our or children talking to us, and we can't even answer them good. Let's go to the phone lines again and talk to another caller on this line. Hello, Yanina, where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you calling from, sir?
My name is Adam Garnett. I'm from St. Johnson Road.
Mr. Garnett, let's hear you. What do you make of Liberians who are not tax compliant and they call somebody armed robber in the night, but meanwhile, broad daylight, they are stealing for themselves?
Everything you said, I listened to it. That's exactly what is happening in this country. Look, let me tell you something. Like me, I got a car. I bought a car to this country, and that car is having problems. I can't easily get a passport. I got that thing packed in the garage. But do you know I always go and get the lesson plate for it to go and put it on in the garage?
Imagine that. A patriotic person.
Because look, like even the way look, people here, they pretend as, in fact, they behave as if Liberia is their farm. They can do anything, and nothing can happen to their body.
Imagine.
Nothing can happen to them about it. That's how they feel. They want to keep carrying all these kind of behavior. But the police need to put their feet down. They need to put their feet down and do what they're supposed to do. Every one of them that's responsible to do what is, let them do their job. That's all. Let them do their job that they have been paid for.
So, yeah.
Because if they don't put their feet down, things will always remain as it is.
I'm telling you.
They can be going for long, man. Look, I'm 72 years, so I'm telling you this.
Yeah, I mean, your car is parked and you can go and buy and the stickers.
I'll go to transport there.
Hey, Liberian, when will be like you? When?
You see, you think everybody was doing that? You will come and to say what you just said?
No.
It's not really happening. But we go out there, somehow go out there, we see it happening. The right thing happening, and we come here to implement it. That's a problem.
A problem for us.
That's a problem.
Anyway, sir, thank you very much, man. Thank you
so
sharing,
much.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's go to the other side of the line. Oh, the last caller just went off the line. 0777105 and 055105105. Okay, he's back on the line. Let's see whether we can take the second to the last caller. Hello. Hey, please welcome on the radio now. Cut the radio off, please. Cut the radio off. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, please, man. Why you call? You got the radio on louder there, my brother. Let's hear you now.
Yes.
Okay, let's hear you. Okay. Your background still noisy, please. Okay. Let me hold you then and take take it from the other side of the line. Hello.
Yeah, my brother, how you doing?
Your name and where you calling from, sir?
I'm Prosperity.
Who?
Prosperity.
What kind of BB you guys with Prosperity? The BB church New York can go take 2 BB for your Prosperity. Cause someone a small country need no. Call us a Nutwa or someone a small knee. Eh?
All right.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Fire.
Okay, fire. Okay, let's hear you, fire. At least I know that a Liberian are talking to.
See, the issue of the tax payment in this country.
Yeah.
Our own Liberian people, they don't want to feel the country. That's the reason why they always do stuff. Because when they go to another country, they abide by those rules and regulations in this country. Everything that the government has said, they will abide by it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Liberia,
it's a different ball game. When you come to Liberia, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
All right, boss. Thank you for being the last caller so far. Thank you. We do appreciate your call and thank you. No, I'm not taking any more call, please, because my guest already here. I just want to transition quickly and make sure that I will kickstart because I want to get the best out of my guest this afternoon from what you guys loaded, something that you want us to really, really learn from this afternoon. So he's already seated, and the technician doing the best he can to make sure that we get the best out of our guest. So he's here, and I'm there, and you are there on the other side. But let's take this musical break, a brief out. When we come back, of course, the voices will be hearing will be that of him and me. Okay, so be there while I'm here. Let's see what we can get. One little nice music and to enjoy ourselves with some nice music.
Jesus, be my double portion. Any more Yahweh, be my double portion. No more delay, no more failure, no more surrender, be my double portion. Double portion of good health, double portion of marriage, double portion of job, double portion of traffic. This year, be my double portion. Yahweh, I be. No more failure, no more delay, no more suppression. This year, the year of 2023. Jesus, be my double portion, double portion, double portion. Ay, ay, ay. You are wanted to be praised, Jesus. This year, name of Jesus, be my double portion. Be my double portion. Double portion of oil, double portion of fire, double portion of dragon, be my double portion. Pastor DK, this is year of double portion for the pastor. Repeat for my boy. Or a dog boy, or an antenna. God bless, mother. Take your kuya, take your blessing, take your fana in the name of Jesus. This year, no more delay, no more failure, no more delay. This year, double portion. Are you ready to take your double?
Oh yeah, double portion by the man Prince was Yahweh.
Somebody shout.
He one of Liberia best, man. Very the first time to be played on this medium. You know, with the first in news and best entertainment. That's the entertainment aspect of our music and our program. So enjoy yourself. Double portion on man Prince was Yahweh.
You see the one
Okay, Prince, we're not having a church service. We're having today discussion that has to do with the betterment of this nation. Of course, education of and experience sharing. That's what we are here for. So whatever I'm Morovia, it's my pleasure again to have you all seated here. My guest is already seated. And again, I have the singular honor to invite to the microphone in the studio Mr. Adolphus Scott, who had done something very much magnificent, and we thought to showcase what he had brought so far to the educational aspect of our nation. So again, sir, it's my pleasure to have you seated here this afternoon.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure being in the studio here with you. Okay. I remember back in the day when we did a lot together with the UN and other. Yes. And thank you so much for your service to the country. I appreciate it.
Thank you too for your service to country, because because of you guys that we were seated behind the microphone. Okay, he has come here in the capacity not as a politician, but he has come with education. He got a book that he wrote, "Let the Pepper Bird Fly." Why you choose this nomenclature? Let the pepper bird fly.
Well, the title of the book is more figurative, Joe. As we all may know, the pepper bird is the official bird of Liberia.
Yeah.
And from a figurative perspective, I'm more or less saying, let Liberia take off, let Liberia fly. So it has nothing to do with any political party or whatever. It's all about our bird being the pepper bird, the official bird, and we're saying let Liberia fly.
Let Liberia fly. Okay. By the way, who is this Adolphus Scott sitting in this studio? Not many people know who Adolphus is. Yeah, many people may know, but for the sake of the discussion, can we get to know who you are?
Oh yes. My name, as some of you may have come across my name, Adolphus. I've been around. I've worked with the UN. I'm working with the Liberia Electricity Corporation presently. I worked with a local NGO back in the day. But I started my early childhood here in Monrovia. I grew up in Monrovia. I was born at the maternity center here on the bypass. I grew up partially on the bypass as a young kid growing up, and my mother decided that we move on to the suburb. So we moved on into the Gardnersville area, where I did my early elementary education, and later on I went to Nimba for school. I went to the Quending Vocational Training Center. I then later on went on to Conolai Academy, and further on graduated from the Haywood Mission School, and then war came. After the war, I spent about 8 years running around, and I had to crawl back in college, where I had credits at the university. So I graduated from LU, from the Liberia College, and I then joined the UN. And later I did my master's in development communication at the University of Philippines. And presently I'm currently serving as the communications manager at LEC, working along with the senior management team there.
Beautiful. I was trying to see what I could get. I think you will help us on that. I was trying to see what I could read, some synopsis of this book, but then I'm privileged that you brought along with you something there. Okay, what gave birth to this whole book issues before we can go into a detail?
Yes, from the onset I decided that I write chronologically something for my family to keep as a family record of us as a family going through turbulent times in Liberia as a family and what we experienced. I wrote about us, and I had it, and then it dawned on me that if you put this thing down in the house, it may get dusted, and people wouldn't know about it.
Right.
Why don't you let your people know? Why don't you let your country know? You've served this country over the years, and I think something like this will be. So there was a burden on my heart to actually tell this story. So my story is about us as a people, Liberia. We are currently at a crossroad. So the book starts in April of 2020. By then, President George Manuel Weah had taken over the reins of our country, and running the country as the president. So I'm like, this is where we are, heading into the future. We are at a crossroad. The decisions we take now moving into the future will go a long way in deciding how Liberia will be. So I decided to bring Liberians together in this project, this work that I came up with. It's all about telling our story as Liberia, and then in there telling my story as how I went from one place to another within Liberia. And wherever I went during the crisis, I tried to provide a descriptive analysis of the landscape, the people, and the historical background of each given area. So in essence, it's more or less like a civics, it's more or less like a history book. It's also a guiding tool for leaders, not just the president, but just anyone finding yourself in a leadership capacity. How do you govern? How do you lead your people? How do you manage an office? How do you manage your establishment of the country? Being honest and being civil and being credible. So it's all about us, bringing us together. I did not write this work to blame anybody. I did not write this book to kind of highlight the negatives of individuals, but I brought us all together, and like this is how we are, who we are, and what do we need to get to where we are supposed to get, and what are the mother's milk therein in order for us to do what is right. So I've provided a lot of ideas and suggestions as to how we can manage what we have as a country. We can manage whatever control we have as it relates to the positions we are holding in order to be better people. I'm talking about corruption also. I'm talking about good governance. Corruption, like I said, it's not just the government. You go into schools, you go into churches, you go into the community, local governments, wherever you in homes, even in our homes, you have corruption. So it's corruption is something that is eating the fabric of this nation. And I spoke a lot about
already.
It's eating, and it's like you need to see how deep the soul is, or how deep corruption has eaten. But all is not lost, because we still can do what we can in order to get back on track. Now, just to close up on this question, I decided to write this work and talking all about these vices that we need to kind of fix in order to grow. Because as a development communication specialist, I have just one voice, and I can come on the radio with you and say what I have to say to the people of Liberia, but I'm just one person,
right?
And it bothers me.
I teach at the university.
At some time, I taught for like 4 years, raised ambassadors in my classes, but it is just not enough. So I thought also that this work will be a platform through which behavior change can take place within Liberia, because I'm going to go all over the country talking to students, talking to university students. My target audience is basically university students and high school students. And some of the junior high students, if they can get in and do some paragraphs through literature work in school, that would be really good. And it's also going to build the word capacity of our students, because it has some real good words that will help build the word power of our students. So that's it.
I was trying to, verbatim what you had in one of your songs, but I tried to recollect myself from the synopsis you sent me. You had an experience during the war, and you share in that book. Let's take a piece by piece.
I had several experiences, but like one of the chapters further into the book is called Fear Dead. That's a strong chapter, where if you come with me, I'm going to take you through the valleys of the shadows of death, where I was adopted somewhere in rural Liberia in Nimba County. An innocent guy coming from outside the country, and I was arrested. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I was arrested by men of the MPFL.
Okay.
And the day I was arrested from that checkpoint somewhere in Nimba County, I got separated from my family and friends all across the world for 1.5 years.
When you were arrested?
1.5 years I went underground. I was in prison for 5 months and 12 days with my rebel captors. They had me in prison, and I survived that and I found myself all the way in Maryland County, and that's where I started beating the embargo on foot.
From Nimba County, you found yourself in Maryland County?
That's where you need to read the book in order, because I had to escape my captors, and I had to escape through Yekipa on top of a train. So it's a mind-moving memoir of this young man called Pep moving across Liberia, and wherever he sets foot, he's going to give you a vivid analysis of the people, places, and history, like I said earlier.
If you just joined the program, it's ABC Hard Talking. Of course, we have here one of Liberia's best, an educator, a communication developer, a specialist. He got a book called Let the Pepper Bird Fly. He's no other than Adolphus Scott, a classroom teacher at university level, and he had come to tell us more about it. But the main thing we thought to bring him over will come at the latter part of our discussion, but we just try to go through it for you to have a little idea exactly of what the discussion is all centered around. Let's hear more of some of the chapters. Let's hear more.
Okay, so another striking chapter that I just spoke about is beating the embargo. Like I said, I found myself in Plebo at some point. Cut a long story short, I was in Plebo, and I just didn't want to join the bandwagon of war, so I decided to do business. And while standing at the crossroad within the heart of Plebo, I see people, with oil containers, containers with red oil.
Yeah.
They all have some carrying with wheels, some carrying the oil on their head in containers, and they were all headed for the border towards the T-Color Kavala River to cross over into Ivory Coast. And then I started to ask, I said, where are these people headed? They said, oh, they do oil business and they sell the oil in Ivory Coast. So I inquired, and I found out that business was a lucrative business, where when you get into Ivory Coast, if you take 1 drum of oil, that's a 52-gallon drum. You take it across the border and come back with goose and other needed items in the country, like in the marketplaces. You will get to make a 125% profit.
Wow.
So it was actually real hard work, but because I needed the money, I got into this line of business purely because of profit, purely for profit. So we would then strap our wheels laden with oil and head for a little hamlet within the Ivorian palm plantation all across a town called Petit Dakar.
Yeah.
That's where we were headed. We crossed the Kavala in kinos because there were kinos there. We would then sell the oil and then buy needed items like flour, rice, and sometimes other things that people would need, sugar, coffee, because there was nothing in Liberia. There was an embargo on the country. So that's why we call the chapter Beating the Embargo on Foot. But then there was one day I was on my way because I had a caravan of about 31 wheels made out of wood. It's not the regular wheelbarrow you have here. My wheels were built out of wood, and the axle, the tire,
that's right,
was a metal axle.
Okay.
So it gets to penetrate the mud easily. It goes almost anywhere. So we had these specially built cartwheels, and we had a convoy of about 31 of them, and I would lead the convoy always. So on my way back on one of our treks to the Ivory Coast, we were headed through Jedetabo and going to Glebe Niniken towards Plebo. And on my way along this narrow dirt road, I see 4 women leave their homes and come on the main road to welcome us, and they were happy and cheering us along the way. But then they came in front of me, and they decided to take off their lapas and spread it on the ground for my dirty wheels to walk over.
Wow.
And that, I have received a lot of accolades in the past. People, people say thank you for a lot of things, but this one has been till now the best response and thank you I have received in my lifetime. And that took me back when those ladies were laying their lapas on the ground. It took me back to my early childhood days. Now that's the book I'm writing now. I'm explaining what I wrote. It took me back to my early childhood days when we were in elementary school and we used to drill. And our group used to be the last. Have you been the last, Joe? The last group where they call you Pupu Platoon?
No.
Have you been called Pupu Platoon?
No, sir.
We used to be called Pupu Platoon, the last group, kicking each other. Let's walk back, let's walk. And although we were the Pupu Platoon, the women in the market will always come out and target us. We were the favorite.
Right.
Although we were called Pupu Platoon, but we were the favorite for the market women because they would come out and happily dance around us and spread their lapas. So when those women were exhibiting that gesture, it took me far back to my early childhood days.
Wow.
So those are things I will be explaining. I'm going to take you around the country. And just to let you know, Joe, this book is not just a fly-by-night work. It took me, like I said, it took me some time to put this all together. And my first review was done by my dear sister, Hester Baker. She's a prominent person here in this country and a renowned writer also. And That was the first review. The second review was done in the United States by Black Gold Publishing.
Okay.
And you need to see the review. The review was a stellar review that I received. And our book also made the African Book Review.
Okay.
We made the African Book Review. I can't remember when a Liberian book, was recognized by the African Book Review. But the reviews are all there for all to see. And my sister, who is very detailed, she's a nurse manager in America. She did another review for me. So this book has gone through several reviews and is still going through reviews. So what makes a good book is a good review. So I'm about to launch this work for my country, not for gain, not for fame, not for political whatever, but it's all about me, Adolphus, being around, cleaning up the mess over the years along with people like you. And it's about time that we write something for our country. There will be people who will pick it up and read it and get inspired.
Right.
There will be some who will see it and just look at the cover, and the cover itself tells a story. I decided to do that, and the cover was done by one of Liberia's renowned artists. His name is Leslie Lumbe.
Oh, that's my buddy.
Yes.
I saw this thing. Is Leslie that did the cover?
Leslie did the cover. So everything is all Liberian.
We got rough diamonds, all lay, and we don't even recognize.
Yes,
in most cases.
Yes. I worked with Leslie during the Ebola outbreak. There was Leslie, Frank Duji, and Appleton. There was a gentleman also called Appleton.
Appleton, yes.
Yeah, he's a very good artist. So we worked together closely, and all of the images for Ebola that you saw came from those three individuals. So when I was ready to do my book cover, who else would do my book cover than Leslie?
Very Leslie.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
Yes.
So Adolphus, as you were talking, and what came to mind was that do you have any plan to meet the you say that your target are university students, but I'm looking at coming back to tell the Liberian story, because we have to talk and tell the Liberian story.
Yes.
And you are one of those telling those stories.
Yeah.
The generation that just born today or yesterday, they got no absolute understanding of this world.
Exactly.
All they heard was, one Mr. Charles Taylor was here. He was arrested, taken to Sierra Leone, and he get 50 years in jail in London. The genesis of the world, they don't even know. To the extent someone even knocking their chest today. We want to experience our own. On blood and sweat, we want something. So we need to tell the story from the grassroots. Are there any plan to symbolize this entire something within the most simplest understanding, that our grade student will have an idea on some of these things, that it will be told the actual story?
Yes. Like I mentioned, we must tell the story, Joe. We have to. And that's why I came up with this work. What I'm hoping to do initially is to see how best I can work with schools. I'm going to work with schools because I'm already in touch with the Ministry of Education.
Okay.
I've been in touch with the Department for Education, where I hope they'll be there on the night, because they have accepted, So we're going to go from school to school, rolling out this work and encouraging students to read it, and also encouraging the literature department to use it as a supplementary reader, because they have real nice paragraphs where some of the paragraphs can be read by students and questions can be answered. That's one way. And another way, I'm hoping in the future we could have an audio book. We could also have a book that will be read in mono, in audio, or in pele for some of our, I wouldn't call them illiterate, but some of our people who cannot speak the Queen's language, and they speak the traditional language. I'm hoping that one day in the future, people can hear my story through audio books, where you get to read, you get to listen to it.
You got a group called Le Tieblo,
Yeah.
Right? I think adjacent LBDR Bank.
Yeah.
Okay, somewhere in the Cinco era, 2FG era.
Yes.
I think you get in touch with them.
So let's do the launch first.
Right.
So we can start to when we can get the launch going.
Right.
Because I hope to launch this book, like I mentioned to you, Joe. We are planning on launching this book on the last day of this month, which is the 31st of May. It will be at 5 p.m. at the Stella Maris Gymnasium, Old St. Patrick's School,
Okay.
opposite the Foreign Ministry.
Okay.
Yeah, we will be at up there in the gymnasium at 5 p.m. I will be there signing books. I will be there taking pictures with my guests who will be there. And then I decided to invite students, unlike other launches that I've seen within this country. People will do it in a little room in a little hotel or somewhere. But I want to invite more students because they are my target audience.
Right.
So I want to have more students. So I'm working closely with the Stella Maris administration. I must say, whilst on this program, a big thank you to Mrs. Doe and her team from Stella Maris. They've been very receptive, and they've given me the hall, the gymnasium that can take a lot of people. And so it will be on Wednesday, the 31st of May at 5 p.m., where there will be a couple of performances, and there will be readings from the book, like I just explained. My daughter will be reading along with another young lady called Angel. We hope to have readings done and maybe one or two questions, and then it will be a lively evening where people will receive books, and there will be a raffle draw for students where they will be winning books along with other souvenirs, and my guests will also be receiving signed autographed copies of my book. And it will be a nice evening. We will have a little cocktail, and we hope to have a nice evening. And then after the book is launched, I'm just asking Liberians to help in whatever way you can to promote this work. When you get to come across it, if you get to feel it and you want to promote it, please feel free, because this is about all of us trying to work together for our country. Like I said earlier, Joe, I'm not doing this for profit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. You know where we're from. I grew up. Most of my work life has been in the UN, so I have that perception. I have that perspective. Yeah, I'm not asking people out there to give me their votes. I'm telling you to buy my book. Yes.
So how many copies do you think we got in country now that you want to kickstart with?
Oh, there'll be copies for people. We have currently in country over 1,500 copies.
Okay.
So a copy of the book it goes for $10, and it will be sold in supermarkets. I hope to work with school administration, so those schools that are those principals and deans that are listening to me, deans of students, I'm willing to work with each and every school where the school gets to benefit from this project, because for each school that will take this work to share with, to give out to students that will purchase for like a supplementary reader, the school will get a portion, a percentage of this sale in order for school projects. So that's how I want to work with schools around this.
That's encouraging, though.
Yeah. So if a school will, if it's $10, I'm looking at a school getting around 20% of this amount in order to carry out school projects. So it would be good for schools to contact me. I mean, I'm now trying to contact a lot of schools. We are writing schools, we're contacting them, although the schools are about closing, but we're hoping that some of the instructors and administrators can be in touch with us, and we see how we move this forward, because I think it's going to be exciting.
That's the voice of my guest this afternoon. Is Dr. Scott, an educator, communication developer, and of course we're talking about a book that you got to launch by the 31st of this month, which is Wednesday. The book is entitled "Let the Pepper Bird Fly." You know, as usual, the pepper bird is what Liberians, actually love the bird. But let's take this time. Let's take this break. When we come back, then we'll go into other things. Then we continue our discussion there.
Rovia Bricks is a division of Rovia Logistics Incorporated, and they offer a variety of brushworks of all sizes.
How can I get to them?
You can locate Rovia Bricks right at the corner of Madonna and Kerry Streets on the Kakata Highway, Copper Farm area in Fendel, around the University of Liberia campus, or locate our head office on Randa Street. Call Rovia Bricks on 0777-874-231 or 0888-726-172. Email them on rovialib@gmail.com. Better still, WhatsApp them on 0777-874-231 or Facebook Rovia Logistics Incorporated.
I'm calling them right now for that man's Swampe land. No time to waste.
Take it easy. Rovia. Yes, Rovia Logistics is back. Have you been looking for a one-stop shop to rent and hire machineries of all types? Look no further. Rovia Logistics Incorporated is the answer. Rovia Logistics has wide range of machines like dump trucks to haul your sand, red dye, crush rocks, and border rocks.
As for your construction needs, do not worry. Rovia Logistics have all sizes of yellow machines to meet your desire. They have machines like bulldozers, compactors, excavators, forest machines, backhoes, and many more.
The interesting part is you get to hire them hourly, daily, or monthly. And that's not all. They also rent pickups of all types like Toyota Tacoma, Nissan Frontiers, Ford F-250, and they are equipped with all-wheel drive options for bad road conditions. Locate Rovia Logistics Incorporated right at the corner of Madonna and Kerry Streets on the Kakata Highway, Copper Farm area in Fendel, around the University of Liberia campus, or locate our head office on Randa Street.
Contact Rovia Logistics on cell numbers 0777-874-231 or 0888-726-172. You can also email them on rovialib@gmail.com.
Better still, WhatsApp Rovia Logistics on 0777-874-231 or message them on Facebook Rovia Logistics Incorporated.
Rush now for quality services at affordable prices.
And they walk up to Rovia, whatever it is. Rovia is one of our biggest sponsor on this platform, so we just make sure that Rovia do the best they can in giving you what it is that you stand in need of. But be there, we're here, and Dolphus is here alongside with me. Mr. Scott is here with me, and we're discussing issues relevant to a book. I got a copy of the book right in my hand. Let the Pepper Bird Fly. Very beautifully decorated. I can see it here. Yes, it's actually the handway is a water, pin, like kind of canvas kind of painting I'm looking at here, from the hands of Leslie Lomel. Okay, so the book is actually beautiful from what I'm seeing. I mean, the background tells us that you can see someone like a child soldier smoking, and I see others here hanging up, and the bird is flying. The paper bird is flying, and I see something like a checkpoint with women with women and children walking with load on their head. With I think the ECOMOS soldier all standing. Then I see the ship with all into the sea, and then I see the 13 officials of government that were executed. What a big book! Why you decide to just do all of these together and just give it this face? Why you choose to?
Why such face? That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I hope you have the audience to see the copy of the book.
Definitely they will see. Mr. Editor, I want you to come quick, Mr. Editor. Come, let's see.
So the book. Like I said, I had to get a specialist to do that design because it was actually deliberate in coming up with such a layout.
I got this thing before the camera. This is the book. Yeah, I want the audience to see exactly what we're talking about. This is the book we're talking about.
So if you look in the background,
yeah.
Well, let me just say first. We have a lot of. Individuals within Liberia, let's face it, who may not be able to read this work.
Right.
So the book cover tells a story in itself.
Right.
The cover is a story of Liberia. When you look in the background, you will see the settlers' ship coming into the Providence Island,
Right.
and then you will see Liberia. You see the guys who were executed on the
Right.
poles, the 13 individuals. You see what we went through the war,
Yeah.
and then you see the child soldier. You see people with the bundles on their head and the Ecomog checkpoint. That's our story. Now, in the foreground, where you see the bird, there is a bird trying to take off. There is a bird trying to gain flight. However, you see a lot of people under there trying to pull the bird down, and you see the feathers kind of falling off from the bird.
Yeah.
And there's a cross section of people. You got the traditional, you got the Congo people, you got the whatever person there. We all together as one big family,
Right.
and you see people pulling the bird down. Well, it's trying to say that our country wants to rise along with other prominent nations across the country, across the world. Sorry, we want to take off. We, like I mentioned in the book, I see Liberians as a group of people in a battered wooden boat,
Okay.
leaning on one side, and beyond us on high seas we have a lot of cruise ships and cargo vessels sailing, you know, or moving on the courses and on an even keel. Here we are in this battered wooden craft, and all that is going on in our boat is argument, rant, and imbued corruption.
Wow.
And all of that. That's Liberians. It's not just about government, though. It's all of us one big. Look, some people can be singing in the bus through Viton, Jesus my only friend.
That's
They be in a godly way, but they're heading for that place, that workplace, to carry out some little, monkey business.
Right.
Yeah. So the corruption is like I said earlier, it's not just within government. It's cross cutting.
Yeah.
So my work is speaking to all Liberians, because how many persons working with government as compared to the total population of this
Right.
country? So I'm more or less speaking to the bulk of Liberians. So the book cover tells a story to someone who will just pick it up and look at it, and someone can use it to tell a story to this person and say, hey, this is how, you know, it is like. So we came up with that work, and I must say a big thank you to Leslie. We went over and again to come up with what you see there, and he did a very good job.
It's actually beautiful. My audience, sorry that most of you who not following by way of the television. I mean, you can see it, but the description analysis so far, he himself just gave it to you not too long ago. From what I'm looking at, it's actually, it tells the Liberia story. It tells the Liberia story, you know, and we are all factored into this book. The synopsis that I read, I grabbed myself, I said, wow, what a piece of work. What a piece of work. You know, it's so beautiful. So, I mean, let's go more. Who are those that you invited?
Okay, so can I just maybe take and read for the Liberian people just the...
Obviously, I would love that.
I just want to just read a poem that I start off with as regards this book.
Okay.
And this poem is for the people of Liberia.
All right.
Yeah. So it's entitled A Voice in the Midst of Strife. And it was written by Adolphus Scott in the year 1998. So not today. That's 98 poem I'm about to read.
Wow.
And it's for my people, the Liberian people. The daunting future thrives on the now, but our hearts are broken and completely down. Atrocious fray is the order of the day, with stricken faces languishing all along the way. There is enough for all from the well below, even for our brood and others that will follow. The belt on the belligerent hill should stop its toll, and let's all work together and live to the full. Oh, fellow kingsmen, this is a great big folly, to be warlike men and live unholy. There is so much wealth that is enough for all, but still we fight and let our country fall. Our land is filled with blood and pain because of greed and selfish gain. Away from war and greed, we must turn our heel and put Liberia on an even keel.
What a beautiful brand. It's like you are ramming this thing. It sound too beautiful in my ear.
Yes, for my students, the rhyme skill I'm using is called alliteration.
Okay.
Yeah, so I use alliteration for that part of my book. Yeah, and I want students to really read. I'm looking forward to have students picking up this work and get to know the story of the country, get to understand, and be better people for the future, and set Liberia on an even keel.
And Mr. Scott, I'm being very frank with you. I don't find many books in our, part of books with respect to book, what they call it, suggested by the Ministry of Education.
Prescribed
books.
Yeah.
So something like this, written by the Liberian, that telling her own story to the born and yet unborn to come.
Yeah.
I think this book should be recommended, even though you say you're in touch with them. But I think we need to go more than that, because if we don't take ownership of what one of our kinds are written, you don't expect a Ghanaian to put the books on the shelf of in Accra. You don't expect it. Trust me.
Well, I can tell you, I can, Joe, you can rest assured, if a Nigerian or Ghanaian picks up that book and starts to read, they get glued.
Yeah.
They'll like it. It's not just for, it's for Africa, more or less.
Right.
Because it made the African Book Review, like I said.
Yeah.
When it went to the African Book Review, among several other books, our book from Liberia was chosen for the month of March this year. Last year, the month of March, our book was chosen.
Because it's often aired on BBC.
Yes, and it was read on BBC. The African Book Review is normally on BBC, and they read. So they were telling the part of the book that African Book Review took out of my work was from my village in Marshall. There's a village I come from, a town I come from, is called Loisville.
Okay.
And I was kind of depicting when we were like in Loisville, kind of showing where we're in Loisville, how my mom would be happy and her laughter. I kind of, provided a clear descriptive analysis of our time there. And that was what was taken from the book. And and Black Gold was also really happy with this work. And there are a lot of people in the diaspora, according to them, will be willing and ready to learn from this work, because it tells a story of how Liberians, present day Liberians, came from the diaspora. What set the ball rolling for Liberians to be brought here by the American Colonization Society and the Maryland Colonization Society. And it also tells the story about how the people from Sino came to Liberia. Now, you see, like the people from Sino, according to my book, they came from one plantation in Mississippi.
Okay.
The plantation is called Prospect Hill Plantation. And this plantation, there were over 280 men and women working on this plantation. Not talking about children. So they were all enslaved and working. But the slave driver was on his dying bed one night. He had the pastor, he had someone mopping his face, the nanny and everybody around him, and he was about to take off. He was going to the great beyond that night, and he knew he was going to die, and he wanted to go to heaven. So he prayed and prayed, and he decided on that night to free all of his slaves. He freed all of his slaves, and when you tie a chicken somewhere for long, when you release it, it can still hang around that little area, right? Picking the little, things from the ground. And that's how they were. So through James E. Green, the late, they got in touch with the American Colonization Society, and that's how come the area that we now call Greenville was the point along the coast that was designated, picked for the slaves that were coming from that Prospect Hill plantation because they sailed out of the state of Mississippi to Liberia. So so this book is civics. It's a part of civics for our children and our older people also. It's also a history book for our children and our elderly people to tell the story. And it also draws the reader closer to the actual country Liberia, because some of us we here in Liberia, we don't know Nimba, we don't know Maryland, some of us have not been to even Banga, say Kakata, but this book will take you across the country and give you a full analysis of what happened to me as I went through, and describe the places I went, and it kind of brings you closer to the history and the topographic of the country.
Just joining the program is ABC Hard Talk, and of course we're talking human interest, education, of course, and we're talking about what will be left behind when this generation may have leave the show. Because remember, we are all come here today by the grace of God to perform our actions that have been given to us by our Father, the Maker Himself, God Himself. So don't think that you'll be here forever and ever, but you have to leave a legacy. You have to leave a mark, an indelible mark, that when society sees it, they say, oh, I used to hear about this guy. My parents told me about him. I didn't see him with my eye, but he left something that I had to read and pass it on to another generation. With these things done, because not many of what transpired in Liberia, Adolf, I noticed the negative aspect of it is what most of us dwell on rather than the positivity. This war, it was not just all negative. Some positive thing came out, but the positive aspect I have not heard about. Yeah, you have your experience to have gone through all of these, even in the midst of war. People took a lap and placed it on the floor for you to walk. Why are you called that? How do you call that in the midst of war, embargo on the nation? I want somebody understand exactly what I'm coming from, what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what you've just said, this is just one book along with others who've written. But I think Liberians, we need to do more.
Yeah.
We need to. I had a good friend and a brother who passed on. I don't want to mention his name. He had 2 draft copies.
Yeah, go ahead.
He had 2 books written in the manuscripts. He had 2 manuscripts of 2 separate books that have not been published till today, because he died and left those 2 manuscripts behind. So Liberians out there, my friends, ladies, gentlemen, young girls and young boys listening to me, I'm encouraging all of us to take seriously leaving behind history of what we want to leave behind. You can write whatever way you want to write, whether it's fiction, whether it's historical, whether it's a memoir like what I've come up with. I want to encourage Liberians to come up and write. I want to encourage Liberians, even if it's your trip to Patawi, you can write a short story on my trip to Patawi, and that will inspire some young Liberian person reading your work. Even if you had some experiences you went through, you can write a short story. You don't have to write a full novel. So I just want to use this, Joe, this medium, and thank you for having me, to encourage more Liberians out there to do more writing. My sister, who is one of the most critical person in my family, went through my book painstakingly, and she found just little dots, I and T's and stuff, which was really good, and I really appreciate that. But she said to me, she calls me Pep, and that's my name in the book.
Okay.
So this young man going around Liberia, his name is Pep.
Right.
And she says, Pep, you need to write another book. And my childhood friend Lawrence Kennedy, who's in Delaware, I haven't seen him for rock or ages, clear for me. He wrote and he read my work, and he said, Scott, you have to write again. So this says a lot to me. And it's, who said Liberian can't write? Who said Liberian can't read?
That's not true.
Who said we can't read? Who said we can't write? I'm here today to challenge all of us. Whatever you have that you are planning on doing, don't sit on it. Don't procrastinate. Don't think that you can't do it. It took me a long time to write this book, and I must use this medium to apologize to some of my friends who have been talking to us. Oh, I got a project working on, I got a book, and they got fed up listening to me. But now that the book, because I knew what this book has to offer, and I felt it, so I was excited about it. But others, who are not feeling it would not be as excited, as you. But so I was from that perspective. So I'm happy it's out. And I want to encourage other Liberians out there to write more and inspire our children. Let's do something to steer this country into a brighter future. Who say Liberian can't write? Who say we can make things right? We've done it in other places. When we go, we in line. We in straight line. We conform. But why? Why are we allowing all of what's happening around us to happen?
Yeah.
You know, we need a lot of behavior change in this country. And I would challenge every government coming, this government, the next government, the one after or whatever, into the future. And if you're a young person listening to me today and you become president tomorrow, whether it's a girl or a boy, whether it's a man or a woman, I'm not talking about this coming election. I'm talking about far into the future. You should try your best to ensure that behavior change amongst Liberians is instilled, where we will respect our country, we will respect our streets, we will respect the traffic rules, we will respect whatever is to be respected. And I think that would set the basis for Liberia to take off.
That will set the basis for Liberia to take off, and we need to instill and inculcate those things that we need. With that said, by my guest, now you have the time. Those of you who are calling, you have the time on the call to interact with my guest. He's seated right here, and he's willing to answer some of the concerns that you have with respect to the book and its launch that come by the 31st of this month. 0777-105-100 and 0555-105-100. Let me hear from you, Liberians. Let's get to know. Look, we have to wrap up one another, because the thing is that I was opportune to see a lot of book launches outside of Liberia. And what did I see? I didn't see diplomat there. I saw indigenous of those nations seated right there and doing the best they can. Let's take the first call. Please lower the volume on your radio, I beg you. Lower the volume on the radio. Okay. Hello.
I said Joe.
I'm okay.
I'm Shelton Gonton.
Oh, Shelton, yeah. He's another good writer here.
Oh,
Shelton.
nice. Hi, Shelton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Scott. Thank you very much that you are raising Liberia's flag. You see, outside there, we are knitting together. I've done some work for that. I think a country is measured by its rectors. Rectors means a play. You see, they don't measure you by your master bedroom. They measure you a nation by what people do, what comes out of our mind. So I want to thank you very much for that effort. Liberians, I mean, we have something. We can deliver, we can read, we can write. It's like a baby that is prepared to be born, that has made all necessary, advertisement to be born. So they deliver the prepared midwife. Who told you can write? Let me, I read 4 books. I have about extra 5-6 manuscripts prepared. Now we want to prove to the world that here you have Chana Ichibi, you have Wallace Soyanga here too. You have the great people. But who is supporting writers? Based on where the dark film is my own account about it for about 300 pages. I have a lot of work in the diaspora I want to bring them here. But I think we're just waiting for the appropriate time for this people to support their own writers. Let us stop looking up to the sky if we want to sow the seeds. Let's look to the ground level. You see, so thank you very much. We are in this together, and we will ensure that Liberia gains its place, the top of a place in the world of writers. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Gongawon, for being the first caller and following the discussion over there. And I hope to see you at that lunch, eh?
Yes, sure, I'll be there.
Okay, Gongawon, yeah, Shelton. Okay, that's be like Shelton and call 2077-105-100 and 0555-105-100 number to call and look, it's not about politics. It's about leaving something behind. Be part of what he has started. Let me hear from you, Liberia. Wherever you are, let me hear from you now. 0777-105-100 and 0555-105-100 number to call. Call and let's make it interactive. I want to hear from you, Liberians. Call me this morning. This afternoon, or I can say this morning. Whatever you get in our signal, I mean, you can. If you online up, it's ABC Radio 105.1 official. You get us live on our television, and of course, we got our King Act, ABC Radio King. I mean, go there, you download our app, you see everything that's coming through. Or better still, if you're watching us online, the addresses are there, and you can follow up online with us. So call us on 077-105-100 and 055-105-100 number to call. Let me hear from you, Liberians, with respect to what Mr. Scott has put together. You can do the same, and he's encouraging every one of us. It's not about politics. Yes, politics is good, but politics they are eventual. We're talking about things that will leave behind, that people will come, because people don't read politics. They can only talk about events in politics. Oh, I remember this time the election, what was so on. But when books are left behind, these are things that guard a nation. So we got to tell our own story. Don't allow an American, Mr. Scott, while we're waiting for the colors, I hear sometimes BBC say that John, our Liberian expert, who is not speaking like you and I, he's speaking in a tonation that sounds very foreign. That John, our Liberian expert, on XYZ, sitting way in London or sitting in some part of Europe or sitting down somewhere in Asia or America, then he is talking about you and myself story. I feel downhearted whenever I hear these things.
Yeah, it happens a lot when a country is not prepared in order to take the mantle to move forward or to hold on to the reins. It can be in the area of journalism.
Right.
It can be in the area of water and sanitation. It can be in the area of health. You will have these professionals who will come and take over.
Yeah.
And it's like selling your birthright to another national from another country. The person will come and they've been following up by just reading.
Reading, that's right.
They've been following up by just reading. So you see how important reading is.
That's right.
Now, most people in Liberia today, from what I see and notice, they prefer reading from online pages where these short updates. So the mind of our young people and even young adults and older people even, they get adjusted to reading these short little quotes on Facebook, trying to prop you up, trying to make you feel good, or trying to say something about the other person. And that's what it's all about during the day. And that's what most people read. So if you give somebody a page or a paragraph, it looks so long. So, but I would like to say the bedrock of any given nation is embedded in reading and scientific analysis.
Reading and scientific analysis. Okay, the time already caught up with us, but I really enjoyed the discussion here today. I hope I have more time that we'll continue talking because it's all about education.
Thank you.
What is given here. So let's get your parting comment.
Well, I would love to say thank you to guys like Shelton Gonka who is writing. I hope I get to meet you one of these days. No, I work with Thomas Gonka So.
Oh, okay.
so I like to say thank you also to all of those out there listening to me who are writing. Those who out there who are listening to me who love reading. I want to encourage Liberians, young ladies, young men, older women. Please, let's embrace the culture of reading. Reading builds your mind and reading makes you stronger. I would also like to say to the Liberian people, please come to my lunch program. It's on the 31st of May at the Stella Maris Gymnasium, and the program was going to be at 5 p.m. Now we have tickets on the night, just to let you know. We have ordinary tickets for $25. And that $25 ticket will give you a copy of the book, the 2 souvenirs, and then you will also have cocktail on the night, and you will be entertained. That's for $25 to support my work. I'm doing all of this it's just to sell the book and get people to get interested, and it's for us to not make profit, but to let Liberians get to feel this work. We also have tickets for students. I'm encouraging students to come. It's just 500 Liberian dollars.
Okay.
And with that ticket, you get snacks on the night. And you also, that ticket will have you enter into a raffle draw. And the raffle draw, you will be winning books. There will be 5 books. 5 of my autographed books will be up for grabs, along with 5 additional souvenirs. So there will be 10 prizes to be won on the evening. and there will also be snacks for students. So I'm encouraging Liberians to come. It's at the Stella Maris Gymnasium at 5 p.m. on the 31st of May, the last day in the month of May. And please come and support me. It's where St. Patrick's used to be, opposite the Foreign Affairs. So I would also like to say thank you to you, Joe, for your work being carried out here in the studio and the work you do for the country. I remember working with you back in the day,
Right.
when you. So keep up the good work, and there's people like you and I and the others out there who are carrying out similar work. You know how they call us? They call us the unsung heroes.
Thank you.
And I must commend you for your work and say thank you for having me on your program.
Thank
And
you
thanks
very
to all of those who've been listening. And I hope you purchase a copy of the book when you come across it. Thank you.
Certainly. And I want to say again on behalf of this team, this platform, we want to thank you very much, at least, because these are things we need to be talking about. We lay a little low on politics, and we bring these other things to change the psyche of Liberian, because the people's mind have been saturated with politics. So we need to get off that politics. We've got other things that we can venture into for betterment of this nation. Politics is just a matter of time. It's an event that comes and goes. But these things educate us and keep us afloat.
Most definitely.
Yes, so I want to thank you very much again for being, so kind. And at short notice, you were able to come here, and we all seated here today, and we're talking about something that will benefit the entire nation.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
Thank you much.